Welcome back. To some extent, Nelson Mandela enjoyed being celebrated, but he was also uncomfortable with being called an icon, especially the notion that he was a saint. He wanted the world to know that he was an ordinary human being. A while ago, I spoke with Verne Harris, head of memory program at the Nelson Mandela Foundation in Johannesburg, who spent a lot of time talking to Mandela and compiling notes, and which make up Nelson Mandela's biography, Conversations with Myself.
I mean, he's given us a very specific, deliberate mandate to share with the world information about his flaws, his weaknesses, the mistakes he's made. And these are documented in his personal papers, and he's given us a green light to put as much into the public domain as we feel is appropriate. The words he used in giving us guidelines for the book that I remember were, "You don't need to protect me." And obviously there are legal constraints, third-party personal information and so on. So we've had to go through certain procedures.
Why did Madiba want a lot more about him to be known? Why did he think that is important?
I think the book Long Walk left him feeling uncomfortable because while it's a compelling narrative and while it does go into certain private spaces, it's very much a standard struggle narrative. The complexity of particular moments in his life, the complexities of his own character are not explored in any depth. And I think this is what he wanted to do with the second book.
One of the things actually that he talks about candidly is about his failings in marriage way back in the 50s. Care to share with us a little bit about what he said needs to be known about what happened to his first marriage?
He talked about how he and Evelyn, his first wife, lost each other, grew away from each other, and he revealed how angry they had become with one another. In fact, one of the incidents recounted in the book is a domestic confrontation, and you can imagine the impact on his children. And I think this is one of the regrets that he carries with him today, is the alienation that the children from his first marriage have carried all their lives.
The other things that people talk about is that Nelson Mandela was a fairly popular guy in the early days. Back in the day, he seemed also to have really had a liking for girls. Is he so candid about his wayward ways when it came to women?
He's acknowledged this weakness in a number of different contexts and different ways. Most directly, perhaps, I remember him saying to me, and I had a tape recorder on at the time, that he was a product of his generation and of his historical and other contexts, so that when he went into prison in 1962, it would be fair to describe him as a male chauvinist, and that it was through the long years of imprisonment that he found a different way of relating to women and developing different attitudes.
Well, that was Verne Harris, head of the memory program of the Nelson Mandela Foundation in Johannesburg.